Hello students, this is Poonam teacher back with a new video on heredity and evolution. In my last video, I have taught you about evolution. This entire topic we have covered. Then I have also taught you all these evidences of evolution like morphological evidences, anatomical evidences, vestigial organs, paleontological evidences, carbon dating, connecting links, and embryological evidences. I also gave you notes on Darwin's theory of natural selection and Lamarckism. Now let's begin with a new topic, and that is known as speciation. So speciation means formation of new species. Species means a group of particular organisms with different food habits, with different habitat, with different behavior, reproductive ability, and so on. So for example, human beings are entirely different species of organism. Then like that of tiger and lions, these are different species. Birds, then other Pisces, these are different species. Like this, various species are present on this earth. So formation of new species of plants and animals is known as speciation, and it is an effect of evolution. Species are the group of organisms that can produce fertile offsprings through natural reproduction. The meaning of this means when organisms from a particular species, the male and the female from a particular species, when they will come together, they will have a sexual intercourse. It will result into formation of fertile offspring. And then this species will grow into a particular kind of geographical condition. Their food style is going to be different, their habitat is going to be different, their behavior is going to be different, their reproductive ability is going to be different. So everything is going to be different, and the genetic variation is responsible for this speciation, and because of this the new species are going to be different from the earlier one. Then what do you understand by genetic variation? Variation means the differences which are seen between closely related organisms. So whenever the genetic variation will take place, it will result into formation of a new species. And beside all these things, geographical and reproductive changes are also responsible for speciation. Now what do you understand by geographic changes? Geographic changes, that means if we are living into a particular kind of climate, our entire lifestyle will be depending upon the climate. But if we are transferred to some other climatic region, to some other geographical region, our entire lifestyle will be dependent upon that geographical region. So this is known as a geographical change. Then the reproductive changes are also responsible for the formation of speciation. Then what do you understand by geographical or reproductive isolation? Because geographical and reproductive isolation also leads to speciation. Now the meaning of geographical isolation is that whenever a part of a particular population is separated by geographical element like water bodies, like mountains and so on, or because of the natural disaster, the particular organism will get separated from the rest of the population. Then that particular organism will try to adjust itself into that geographical condition because it is separated from the rest of the population because of the natural disaster, maybe because of the water bodies such as seas and oceans, maybe because of the mountain barriers, and because of that it will adapt itself to that surrounding, which will lead to speciation. Then there is reproductive isolation. Now what do you understand by reproductive isolation? If a part of a population cannot meet with each other for a longer period of time, the male and the female organisms are not brought together, or if it is not possible for them to come together for a longer period of time, then some changes will be brought about in such members, and because of that they have been isolated from the population, and then they will become so different that even if they comes together, even if they met with each other means even if they have a sexual intercourse, they will not be able to reproduce fertile offspring. And that is why this is also the reason of speciation. So this is the meaning of reproductive isolation. Now let's move towards human evolution. Now how the humans came into existence. You can see this journey of human. In this you can see this animal, the first animal. This is a lemur-like animal. It is having a tail. So this lemur-like animal, it is a monkey-like animal. The lemurs are the monkey-like animals, and these are still there into the Madagascar island of Africa. So the humans have been evolved from such kind of animals. It was having a tail also. Then gradually the tail was disappeared. And then the brain was also little bit developed. After that, there was no trees. It is not like that there were no trees at all, but the forest started to decline because of the dry environment, and because of that the ape-like animal came into existence. This ape-like animal was having quite a well developed brain, and because of that as the trees were less, that ape-like animals started to live on the land for a longer period of time. Living on the land created a habit in it to stand on its two legs. And meanwhile the lumbar bone means the lower backbone, was developed, and because of that that ape-like man started to stand erect. So it was having an erect posture. So the first record of human-like animal is with us in the form of Ramapithecus ape. This kind of ape-like animal. After that, the morphology of this human-like animal started to appear like to be the member of the genus Homo. Then the human-like animals started to develop. See, the brains were developed gradually, and they were having the skill. Their hands were improved, and they started making tools. They started holding the things properly. They were having an upright and the erect posture. Their brains were well developed, and this is how the first wise man Neanderthal came into existence. First fossil of this Neanderthal man was found into Germany. Then came the Cro-Magnon man 50,000 years ago. The fossil of this Cro-Magnon man was first found into France. About 10,000 years ago, this wise man, he started doing agriculture. He got the knowledge of the agriculture. He started sowing the seeds, and then the crops he started standing the crops, he started harvesting the crops. So the knowledge of agriculture was gained by this wise man 10,000 years ago. Man learned how to do agriculture. He started doing farming, then he started doing animal husbandry. He started raising the cattle side by side as a complementary business to agriculture. Then the cultural development took place because 5,000 years ago man learned how to write. So he started writing the things and started to keep the evidences. So this is how the history started. This is how the history began. It was the beginning of history then. Then the modern sciences, it emerged about 400 years ago, and the industrial society, the industrial revolution took place 200 years ago. So this is how man was progressing day by day, and he was learning the things day by day, and this is how the today's modern man came into existence. So this was all about the human evolution. Students, I forgot to teach you one thing, that man also meanwhile learned the use of fire. 1 lakh years ago, the man learned to use fire, and then he started cooking the food, and after that this Neanderthal man came into existence. Then Cro-Magnon came into existence. Then man learned how to do the farming. Then he learned the cultural development, how to do the cultural development, how to write, how to keep the written evidences. Then the history began. After that, sciences came in. Science was introduced to the world 400 years ago. Then industrial revolution took place, and this is how various kinds of revolution took place years after years, generations after generation, and this is how the modern man came into existence. So this is how we have completed the entire chapter. I want all of you to complete the exercise into your science 2 notebook. So good luck, have a knowledgeable day. Bye bye students.